Here we go. All right, guys. Rob and Slim Show. We are back, and we have Dr. Daniel
Grove.
Daniel Grove on the phone. You are a weight loss specialist. Is that what it is?
Actually, I'm a intensive care physician.
Cool.
And I also specialize in lung diseases and pulmonology. So I got interested in weight loss because I take care of a lot of patients with sleep apnea.
Okay.
And people who are just sort of short of breath because they're so big.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've seen?
What's the craziest thing I've seen?
Yeah, like doing that.
Because of people's weight?
Or just working in that.
I saw a lady who weighed about 800 pounds in the intensive care unit on a ventilator. She had a tracheostomy, and she was on a vent breathing through her neck. What? And I walked in on her eating a tub of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Wow.
How?
Do you just walk away with something like that, and it's like there's no hope at all for somebody like that?
You just drop the mic and leave. There's no, I just told her to enjoy, so might as well.
We used to work with a guy. I was just telling the story last week. He would go to KFC and get 2 buckets of chicken, and his house was like 10 minutes from there. And by the time he got home, he would have eaten the one, and the other bucket would be for his family and him to eat dinner with. And shockingly, he had like 5 heart attacks in like the last year or so.
Yeah.
He was diabetic. Yeah. He smoked. He fucking drank Monsters all the time. Like it's like you can't fucking do anything.
It's not a way to live. It's not a way to live. The lucky ones just die suddenly.
Yeah. The quick release of death.
What do you do to like motivate somebody to finally like make changes? Because like I know somebody who's like really big and he's just getting bigger and bigger every year, and he's not doing anything about it.
Not only that, but he's got this sodium retention problem where his leg just swells up every time he eats salty foods now.
Oh,
and he's
young.
Yeah,
I don't think you can convince someone to do something they don't want to do.
That's it.
I just try and the reason I wrote this book was a research project I did in my training, and I just wanted to give people some education about how their bodies work and why being fat is so bad for them, and let them sort of make the decision on their own. I don't think you can really make somebody do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
People have to make up their minds that they want to do something, and then I wanted to give them the information they needed to help them.
That's cool. Now, I'm trying to gain weight, dude. I've lost like a couple pounds this summer. I'm just trying to gain weight. I'm trying to do the best thing. One of my friends told me BCAA, I think it's called, to take that. I don't know what to do about that.
I mean, if you want to gain weight, just pretty much you can read my book and do the opposite.
Yeah.
There was a guy I saw. I posted on my blog. My blog is theweightlosscounterrevolution.com. I saw a guy who drank 10 Cokes a day for a month, and you think he gained like in a month like 30 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, I drink water basically. I can't drink soda anymore. It's gross.
Well, here's a good question regarding that. Because you said you're like sleep apnea doctor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about like myself and Rob here? We both work an overnight job. Would that kind of affect like the weight gain and weight loss and stuff like that?
I'm sorry, say that again. What kind of job?
We work an overnight job, so like we're usually
overnight job.
Yeah, so we're up at like from 6 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock the next morning.
It depends. I mean, I think that it can affect your mood and your sleep cycles, which can affect your general energy and how active you are. It depends on what kind of job you're doing at night.
Yeah.
But generally, as long as you're exercising and eating well, it doesn't matter when you're awake, you'll be okay.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm about 6 foot and about 165. Is that a healthy weight compared to my height?
It depends on how tall you are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about 6 foot.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit skinny. You might want to hit the gym.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to. Slim's a fat ass.
No, I'm not. That would be irony, I guess.
I'm very stocky, but at the same time, I also have a kind of a gut too. So it's like.
What now? As far as oh, sorry, go on.
Best of both worlds.
What type of workouts do you tell people to do? Because like for a while I was doing like the P90X thing, and that's like super extreme
beach body.
But I could probably be fine with just doing like a 10-minute workout, right?
Well, it depends. I think the goal is that as long as you're doing something intensely, there's evidence in research for something called high-intensity interval training, which is a type of exercise, not a specific type like cardio versus weights, but more about doing brief bouts, like 30 seconds or a minute of really intense exercise with intermittent bouts of moderate intensity exercise, and you kind of go alternating. I think the best kind of exercise you can do is there's something called CrossFit. I don't know if you're so familiar with CrossFit.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people have success with it.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with CrossFit. I've heard you hear like bad things about things like that though, but who knows?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, the reality is that no matter what type of exercise or anything that you do in a gym, you can get injured and you can hurt yourself no matter what. But if you go to some of these gyms, they're pretty good. They'll help you. But I mean, I think there's so much stuff out there. There's so many videos. There's so many ways that you can be successful. I mean, P90X is good. The problem with P90X is that it just takes so much time.
Yep. That's why I always fall off it. But I also get into this weird mood where because I did like the P90X for a little bit, I can't motivate myself to do anything less. So it's like
right.
I don't want to do this extreme thing anymore, but then I'm not motivated to do anything that's, shorter or not as extreme.
Right. I think the important thing is just to have a sort of a commitment to changing your lifestyle. That's what works.
Right.
Because whatever you do, I mean, people tell me all the time, they're like, they say, Doc, the diets don't work. And I ask them, well, did you stop them? And they say yes. And I usually tell them that the diets don't work when you stop doing them, which you'd think would be obvious, but it's not. And the same with exercise. Exercise works very well when you do it, but it doesn't work very well when you stop.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard there's too like a plateau people hit where they just can't lose any more weight for a while.
Yeah, generally that's because they've done the same. They're doing the same thing. It means like whatever their diet and exercise level is enough to maintain that weight. So in order to break through the plateau, there needs to be some sort of change, either in the intensity of the exercise or in the way that they're eating.
Okay.
But it's very difficult. In our time, it's very difficult to have a decent diet because the food that we eat is such crap.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it,
It's all like corn.
All the
like,
fast food and
all that corn-based stuff. They just break.
Even stuff that's not really, like, you wouldn't think is being unhealthy is full of, like, the average size of our food is increased about 30 to 40% in the last, 30 years. So if you've been eating, like a bagel every morning for breakfast, that bagel is now 30% bigger.
Huh.
What serving sizes are is much larger. And so even if you're eating some of the also there's tons of sugar in everything, everything from ketchup to tomato sauce to soup, everything has sugar in it now because we're so addicted to sugar that if they don't put sugar in it, we don't like it. So, but the reality is that it's really destroying people's lives. Like it's not just the sleep apnea stuff that I see. I'm in an intensive care unit all the time seeing the most extreme sort of consequences of people who spend decades abusing their bodies.
Yeah.
And it's pretty horrific.
Wow.
And you can't really lecture somebody at that point because it's sort of too late,
They've done it too long.
Once you had your stroke and you're drooling in the bed, sitting in a pile of crap, having somebody change your diaper, like it's too late for exercise. So that's why I tried to do this book and the blog. Really more for my patients, so that I can motivate them so that they don't get to that point.
I had an uncle who just died, a great uncle, and he got checked into the hospital and had taken himself off all his, like half of his medication. He was a diabetic. He still drank. And he checked himself out. He went home, and like a week later, I don't know who called. They took him back, and he just kept ripping the mask off, I guess oxygen and whatever IVs were in him, and he just kept saying he wanted to die, to help him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's how he was. He was just too set in his ways. Yeah. Can't imagine that, dude.
Yeah, I have a post on that. I have a post on my blog called Obesity Horror Stories, where I just gave 3 examples. People with non-healing diabetic ulcers in their feet. The problem when you have diabetes is that it kills the nerves in your feet.
Yeah.
And you can't feel anything. So you'll get a cut in your foot, whereas normally the cut would hurt a normal person. and they would lay off it, and they would put they would clean it and keep it taken care of. Somebody with diabetes doesn't know they have the wound. I mean, I saw this horrendous picture. There's this very interesting app for doctors, which is it's like a horror, Instagram or Pinterest for doctors.
Wow.
It's called Figure One. You should check it out. It's called Figure One. You'd like it. I'm sure you guys would like it. So it's essentially like doctors and nurses and paramedics posting pictures of interesting to them. Many of them are like horrifying. Like if you ever want to gross out your spouse or sibling or whatever. So one of the pictures I saw was this guy with horrible diabetes, and a rat had chewed off his toe.
Wow.
What?
Yeah,
when he was sleeping. It happened when he was sleeping, and he had no idea because he couldn't feel it. Diabetes had completely killed his nerves.
Yeah, I used to work in a senior citizen community, and there was a diabetic who every time you saw him, he would talk about having his toes plucked off, or he'd step on a nail or something and not even know it and get like infections.
Yeah, they don't feel it, and then it gets infected, and because the diabetes affects the blood flow, the small vessels, they don't get the immune system can't fight the infection as well. The antibiotics don't get there as well, and
wow,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, I've heard about them going blind too.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is an interesting thing about exercise, that exercise actually and weight loss will cure the vast majority of type 2 diabetes. Not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah, my dad's borderline, and he goes to the VA. He goes to like some group now, and he's been losing weight. They tell him it's all about like portions and all that, but he's also lazy, dude. He'll wake up, he'll fucking eat breakfast, sit in his easy chair, watch some TV, and then take a nap. It's like, what are you tired from, man? Like,
well, being lazy can be exhausting.
And my mom keeps yelling at him that the chair was like $300 and not to sit in it all day, and she thinks he's ruining it.
It's costing a lot more in terms of your medication bill. To burn the chair, I'll be all right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What
Trying to think. So, growing up, did you always want to be like a doctor, or was this something that came later on?
No, I always wanted to be a doctor. I don't know why. I like that kind of interesting stuff. I think it's fascinating. I like being in a job where stuff matters,
Right.
where it makes a difference. But it's not. It's not too boring. It's not too desk ridden. I don't have to sit at a desk all day, which I would kill myself if I had to do.
Do you have to work long shifts?
Say what?
Do you have to work long shifts at all? Because I've heard about,
Sometimes, yeah. I usually do. In the ICU, I do 12-hour shifts.
Wow. That's crazy.
When we were in training, we used to do 30-hour shifts.
Wow.
So thank God I don't have to do anymore.
Yeah. Does it ever affect your home life at all? Like, what you see at work, does it ever, like, I don't know, get you in a bad mood and you take it out on the family or anything?
Not usually. I think you get good after a while. When you see stuff like this every day, it doesn't really, you leave it at work. I think the same is true of like most people have jobs like that, like nurses and paramedics and policemen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That the reason that you can make it through the training and do the job is because you're able to compartmentalize. If you freaked out every time something like that happened, you wouldn't make it through the training. Yeah,
I remember, like I said, I worked in a senior citizen community and at a pharmacy, and dude, sometimes I delivered the medicine, and just seeing these people in their home life, it was so depressing. I'd go home like just so depressed every day, or they'd open, just seeing them in the state they were in, or they'd open their fridge and they'd have like one thing of food in there, and they were spending all their money on the medicine and all, or you'd get close to them and they die like a month later. Like, it was crazy.
But there's also, it's not just horror stories. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you see a lot of people come back after you've taken care of them. People get better. People do lose weight. People change their lives, and cool. And you get people through stuff. And it's also extremely rewarding. It sounds very, if you focus on just the negative, horrible stuff, which is nice to like gross out your family and stuff like that. But most of the day, you're helping people, and it makes a difference. And it's amazing what people can live with and still be happy, and you can make them it's the type of job where you make somebody's life a little bit better, even if it was bad to begin with, but you can make it a little bit better. You can't, always fix everything, but
that's what I feel about the show. We, give people a couple hours away from their shitty, everyday lives.
That's right.
Right.
So,
it's kind of the same as being a doctor. I know.
Yeah.
Does anything surprise you anymore?
Not really. I mean, it's amazing. Sometimes I find myself being surprised by how much people lie to me all the time, and it's amazing. People, especially the drug addicts and alcoholics. It's amazing how they lie.
Yeah.
And just to your face, and and when I'm not the police, I'm not going to get you in trouble. It's not helping you to lie to me.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference you've made in somebody's life?
Oh, well, we save lives every day here,
Yeah.
So
Going back to the lie
all the
thing,
time.
what's the silliest lie that you've heard?
The silliest lie?
Like the most ridiculous thing that somebody said to you to lie about, like their alcoholism or drugs or whatever.
Heroin.
They were lying to you
Well,
about.
I had a guy last 2 weeks ago came in with what was clearly a heart attack it was clearly from cocaine, just the way he was. And he said straight up he hadn't used drugs all the time, and we of course tested his urine, it was positive. And I went in, I'm like, we used to get this all the time when I was in my training too. We get the guys who would say that they had, their drug tests were positive because of secondhand crack smoke, which was always
secondhand crack
Yeah.
smoke.
Right. They always say hey doc, I wasn't smoking it. I was just around it.
I picked up a hitchhiker.
Yeah, right. It was in. So they were hotboxing in the car with me. Yeah, I would never do that stuff.
That's
all the time.
amazing.
And then you get these guys. I trained in Atlanta, Georgia, in downtown Atlanta, and you get these guys. For some reason, they really didn't like heroin down there because they are afraid of needles. So you get these guys who are alcoholics, smokers on crack. It's all these but I don't do heroin. That's bad for you. I know those guys all the time. You don't do that. Yeah. So people lie all the time, but you kind of expect it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion with with weed being legal now, in most places now? What's your views on that?
You think that's like a gateway drug, or?
I don't know. I can't imagine anybody like I said. I can't imagine. I don't buy the evidence that it's a gateway drug. I mean, it's not like anybody's gonna shoot up heroin but not do not smoke pot.
Yeah.
So I think that first of all, I hope they don't make it medicinal. I hope they just legalize it, because the last thing I want is a bunch of potheads coming to my office, complaining that their glaucoma is going out of control. So I just rather they just bypass the whole medical thing and just go straight to the legalized completely. Listen, it's clearly medically not worse for you than alcohol. It's probably not the best thing to be smoking pot all the time. I mean, you don't really know a lot of very successful, wealthy, happy potheads,
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to go. Everybody goes through their pot smoking phase, and at some point in your life, you're gonna have to say, yeah, I think I need to be a grown up now. And I mean, I guess that obviously, unless you're a rapper or a professional athlete, and then you can get away with it. But other than that,
Yeah.
And most of the potheads are not successful athletes generally, with the munchies and all.
Yeah.
Maybe is that why your dad can't get off the recliner? Is that what's going on with that?
No, he doesn't do anything like that, man. He wouldn't even take pain medicine when they give him it. He's been in horrible motorcycle accidents and won't even take Percocet, where he's had
we get a
broken legs.
Yeah, we get a lot of those. That's a gateway drug. I've seen people who go to the doctor because of a back injury or something. I had a guy never ever used drugs in his whole life, and he had a back injury. Went to an orthopedist, got a bunch of Percocet, and then started this he got into the pain medicine clinic where he was getting it they were giving him candy, and then that guy got shut down, and then he got hooked on it, and he was getting it from dealers. Then he started getting into heroin, and it was a spiral.
That's what it is. It's
Because
a different formulation of heroin, right? They just formulate it differently.
Well, that's what morphine, I think, is, right?
Yeah. An opiate.
Yeah, well, morphine and heroin, they're all the same kind of. They all come from the same source, the same poppies that they grow in Afghanistan.
Aren't there some countries where they use heroin in the hospitals instead of morphine?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know that.
There's not a lot of difference between heroin and morphine.
Yeah, there's actual pharmacy grade coke though, right? Because it used to show up on our computers, and I was told they use that for broken noses. They'll swab your nose with cocaine in the hospital. Yeah.
The dentists use cocaine sometimes. I think they probably are shying away from it because I think that to keep that stuff in your supply closet is a big hassle with all the government regulations.
Yeah, we couldn't even order it. Like I said, we were at a pharmacy.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you can. Cocaine is a Schedule II drug, but marijuana is Schedule I. Schedule I meaning there's absolutely no use for it.
Now, how is Marinol compared to marijuana? Like, I heard Marinol only makes you hungry.
Yeah, I think that's what it's supposed to do. It's like, it's taking all the fun out of it, probably.
Yeah, because it's like the pill form.
Yeah. It's hard to fit it in your bong, too. It doesn't work very well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But it's actually very good. Like, it's very good. Marijuana's a very good drug for with, like, end-stage cancers and for AIDS and for other things where they have no appetite and they have a lot of pain. And so, it's very effective for those things. It's really a shame that it's illegal because they can get some benefit from it. It's certainly no worse than, all the other stuff that you can get legally,
Exactly.
And I mean, I think it's better, like, you always want somebody to be stoned. Like, the joke was that, the drunk drivers run the red light and the stone drivers stop at the green one.
Yup.
And everybody gets stoned and like beats their kid. Maybe they get stoned, they like steal their kids' lunch money, but they won't beat their kid. It's probably better that people should be smoking pot.
Yeah, I think so.
But it wouldn't be good for the obesity thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're getting a little close, I think.
Yeah.
Did you have another question?
I actually had it. This is like probably a silly question, but like, what does a guy like you do for fun, man? Is it all just medical, or like what kind of hobbies you got?
So, I mean, I do like exercise. I do the CrossFit thing. I have 4 children, so most of my time is spent with them.
Yeah.
But I do sports. I play basketball. I play guitar for fun.
Cool.
Nothing serious.
That's awesome.
But mostly, spending time with my family is my hobby.
Yeah. That will do it.
Cool. All right, man. It was really cool talking to you. We're gonna wrap it up. So why don't you promote your book, whatever, your website, whatever you got to do, and we'll let you go, man.
Appreciate it. The book is called The Weight Loss Counter Revolution. You can get it on Amazon. And the blog, where I post up on the blog new information every couple weeks or so. When stuff comes out in the news, I'll put recipes and some exercises. Is weightlosscounterrevolution.com.
Awesome.
So then, yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
All right. Pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Take care, man.
Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah, he was fun.
He was cool.
All right, we're going on break, guys.
I forgot to ask. I wanted a Cialis prescription.
Oh,
I'll message him on Twitter.
You should. All right. We'll be back.